Let me start with a simple question. If you miss the stock market's 10 best days over the next 30 years, how much damage do you think that does to your returns? 10%? 20%? The real answer shocks most investors, and it exposes one of the most expensive mistakes people keep making, trying to time the market instead of letting time do the work. In episode 0, we defined the single goal of the ABC system, protecting real purchasing power over time. Today, we're kicking off principle number 1, the first rule that makes that goal possible. Time in the market beats timing the market, because compounding only works if it's allowed to continue uninterrupted. Hello, fellow compounders. I'm Chen, CFA charter holder, former hedge fund manager, and the chief compounder here at the Always Be Compounding Club. This video is part of a series breaking down the principles of Always Be Compounding, the philosophy behind this channel. A quick disclaimer before we begin. Before we dive in, a quick but important disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not financial, investment, or tax advice. All takers and examples are hypothetical and for illustration only. I'm sharing general information and examples, not recommendations tailored to you. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Your situation is unique. Always do your own research and consult a qualified financial professional before making any decisions. Now, let's talk about why market timing feels smart and why it quietly destroys compounding. Segment 1, why market timing feels so tempting. Market timing feels rational. When markets are falling, it feels prudent to wait for clarity. When markets are rising, it feels smart to lock in gains. And the financial media reinforces this instinct every single day. Is it that now the time to get out? Are stocks too expensive? Are we in a bubble? Is a recession coming? The problem is this: timing requires you to being right twice. You have to know when to get out, and you have to know when to get back in. And getting just one of those wrong can permanently damage your long-term returns. And here's the cruel twist most investors don't realize. The market's best days often happen right after its worst days. Segment 2, the hidden cost of missing time. Historically, the stock market delivers a large portion of its long-term returns during a surprisingly small number of days. Miss just a handful of them and your outcome changes dramatically. Not because you were reckless, not because you were greedy, but because you stepped aside at the wrong moment. This is when even professional investors struggle with market timing. Markets don't ring a bell at the bottom, and they don't send invitations when it's safe to come back. But at time things feel better, a large portion of the compounding has already happened. So if timing doesn't work, what actually does? Segment 3, time is the real edge. Let's make this very concrete with real numbers. Let's take this example. Let's take two investors, same investments, same rate of return, same discipline. The only difference is when they start. So let's look at investor A. He starts early. Investor A starts investing at age 25. He invests $10,000 up front and adds $5,000 per year. He earns a long-term average return of 7% annually. He stops contributing at the age of 65. By age 65, investor A ends up with about $1.1 million. Now let's take a look at investor B. He starts 10 years later. Same assumptions. He starts at age 35 instead of 25. Same $10,000 up front, same $5,000 per year. Same 7% return and same retirement age. So by age 65, investor B ends up with about $540,000. They had the same discipline, same return, same behavior, but half the wealth. Not because investor B was less intelligent, not because of worse stock picking, but because 10 years of compounding were removed. That's the power and the tyranny of time. The exact numbers will vary based on assumptions, but the gap is always enormous because time is doing most of the work. Now, let's talk about Warren Buffett. This is why Warren Buffett is the ultimate real-world example. When Buffett turned 60 years old in around the year 1990, his net worth was roughly $3 to $4 billion. Already incredibly successful. Already one of the greatest investors of all time. But here's the part most people miss. Today, in his mid-90s, Buffett's net worth is roughly $130 billion. That means that well over 95% of his wealth was created after age 60. Buffett didn't get richer because he suddenly became smarter or took on more risk. He got richer because the compounding engine was never interrupted. The key takeaway is that compounding doesn't impress early. It whispers for years, then it compounds loudly later. And that's why time in the market is the most unfair advantage investing has, but only if you let it work. Segment 4. What time in the market does not mean. Now, let's clear up a dangerous misunderstanding. Time in the market does not mean taking maximum risk. It does not mean ignoring volatility or never rebalancing. It does not mean staying fully invested no matter what, pretending drawdowns don't exist. Volatility feels like risk, but abandoning the market is how investors permanently lose purchasing power. Time in the market means staying invested through normal market cycles with a portfolio you can actually live with. Because the real danger isn't volatility. The real danger is building a portfolio that scares you out of the market at the wrong time. Which brings us to the real reason time in the market actually works. Segment 5. Time works only if behavior cooperates. Time doesn't compound automatically. It compounds only if you stay invested. If your portfolio causes you panic, you won't stay invested. If your strategy relies on predictions, you'll second guess it. And every interruption, every jump in and out resets the compounding clock. That's why the ABC system is not about maximizing returns. It's about maximizing survivability. So how do you actually apply this principle in real life? Let's do a quick pause here. One thing I've learned after decades of investing is that knowledge isn't the hard part. Behavior is. That's why I created the Always Be Compounding Club. It's a calm community for long-term investors focused on disciplined, simple frameworks and staying invested through real markets. If that sounds like your style, you can learn more about our club using the link in the description below. Segment 6. Applying principle number 1 in practice. Here's what time in the market looks like in practice. You invest consistently, not sporadically. You ignore short-term forecasts. You rebalance instead of reacting. You hold enough cash to sleep well at night. You accept volatility as the price of admission. Most importantly, you stop trying to outsmart time. You just let it work. Segment 7. How this fits into the Always Be Compounding system. This principle is the foundation of everything else we'll cover. If you violate principle number 1, asset allocation won't save you, fund selection won't save you, and dividend strategies won't save you either. Compounding requires time, and time only works when you stop interrupting it. In the next episode, we'll talk about the single greatest reason investors fail to stay invested. It's not the market, it's your behavior under stress. This was principle number 1 of the Always Be Compounding system. Time in the market beats timing the market. If this resonates with you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. And remember, the secret to building wealth is to always be compounding. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in episode number 2. Take care.